Hello everyone, this is Remlace from 40k Theories, and welcome to this new episode of 40k Lore for Newcomers. For this episode, we will be continuing with our brief look at the Warhammer 40,000 timeline. While these videos will typically focus more on humanity's actions throughout the timeline, certain important Xenos events will also be documented throughout. So without further ado, let's continue. The following account is a continuation of events occurring throughout M41. Because of how intricate and detailed the events of this time were, only certain key events will be mentioned, which in turn will be expanded upon in future videos. In addition, there is also a small chance for potential inaccuracies of specific dates due to contradicting sources. For events that occurred prior to this, make sure to check out the previous videos in the 40k timeline. 941 M41. The Second War for Armageddon begins. The Orc warlord Ghazghkull Maguruk leads a massive war upon the world of Armageddon. Commissar Sebastian Yarrick urges the planetary governor Hermann von Strab to request aid against the Orc horde, due to Ghazghkull being no mere run-of-the-mill war boss. Von Strab refuses and banishes Yarrick to Hades' Hive for his insolence. The Orcs eventually begin to overwhelm Imperial forces, overrunning the entire continent of Armageddon Prime before their progress begins to slow at Hades' Hive. The defenders of Hades' Hive, under Commissar Yarrick's leadership, delay the Orc advance long enough for Imperial reinforcements from the Blood Angels, Ultramarines, and Salamander Space Marine chapters to arrive and turn the tide against the Orcs, though the Commissar is gravely wounded in the process. Ghazghkull is initially presumed dead, but is later discovered to have survived. Commissar Yarrick vows to hunt down and finally slay the Orc warlord. 946 M41. In the aftermath of the Second Armageddon War, several monitoring stations are established within the Armageddon system, named Yarrick, Dante, and Mannheim after three great heroes of the war: Commissar Yarrick, Chapter Master Dante of the Blood Angels, and Princeps Mannheim of the Legio Metallica Titan Legion. 959 M41. Abaddon the Despoiler allies with Huron Blackheart and his Red Corsairs to launch an invasion of the death world of Pandorax in search of an ancient artifact known as the Damnation Cache. Imperial forces from the Catachan Jungle Fighters Imperial Guard Regiment and the Space Marines of the Dark Angel and Grey Knights chapters mount a valiant defense of the world. Abaddon would succeed in activating the artifact, opening a portal into the realm of chaos itself, allowing demonic entities to invade the world. The Grey Knights would eventually succeed in recapturing and sealing away the Damnation Cache, and the Traitor Legion forces would be driven from the world. Abaddon, however, would manage to capture the legendary warrior known as Epimetheus, one of the original Grand Masters of the Grey Knights chapter. 963 M41. The Firehawks chapter mobilizes to reinforce the Crow's World sector against Eldari raiders. However, while en route to the system, the entire chapter vanishes within the depths of warp space and is eventually deemed lost. The Ultramarines chapter and forces from the Tau Empire clash upon the world of Malbadi. During the course of the conflict, an unknown Necron tomb complex under the surface of the planet reactivates the slumbering Necrons within, who begin to attack both the Ultramarines and the Tau, prompting them to join forces against this new mutual threat. The Tau succeed in evacuating their colonists before the Ultramarines enact Exterminatus upon the world, with Chapter Master Manius Calgar allowing them to evacuate due to their aid in the battle. 964 M41. Captain Darnaf Lysander of the Imperial Fists escapes from his incarceration upon the Iron Warrior's fortress world of Maladrax. though his chapter becomes concerned by the possibility of Lysander becoming tainted by chaotic corruption. Lysander would be deemed free of taint and able to return to duty almost a year later. 966 M41. Lysander returns to Maladrax at the head of an Imperial Fist strike force in order to purge the world of the Iron Warriors. 968 M41. Anti-Imperial insurgents rise up upon the agri-world of Kai'Zan and succeed in capturing most of the major population centers in a single night. The Astra Militarum dispatches a number of Imperial Guard regiments to intervene. Within a month, the world is brought back fully into the fold of the Imperium, though 90% of the Imperial Guard forces dispatched to retake the world were wiped out in the process. 969 M41. The Death Guard warship known as the Terminus Est is spotted within the Kando system. A few months later, the entire system suffers from a mass outbreak of the zombie plague. 970 M41. Bellicas, the homeworld of the second incarnation of the Emperor's Sword Space Marine chapter, is revealed to be a Necron tomb world. The Necrons upon the world awaken and subsequently slaughter all human life upon the world, resulting in the annihilation of the Emperor's Swords chapter. 971 M41. The Orc speed freak known as Wazdaka Gutsmech begins making plans for a super highway that would allow him to ride his bike through warp space. 972 M41. Tectonic shifts upon the world of Damnos begin rousing the dormant Necron population upon the world from their long slumber. 973 M41. The Necrons upon Damnos begin to awaken en masse and begin to slaughter the human population. The Ultramarines Second Company, led by Captain Cato Sicarius, responds to an astropathic call for aid and immediately set course for the Damnos system. The Ultramarines battle fiercely against the Necrons, and would attempt to cripple the Xenos by eliminating the Necron Lord leading the Horde. Sicarius would be severely wounded in his duel with the Necron Lord, but the Necron would be slain in turn by the venerable dreadnought Agrippan. Eventually, the Ultramarines are forced to evacuate from the world, due to over half of the Ultramarine Second Company being slain or grievously wounded, and the numbers of the Necrons being seemingly limitless. The world ultimately falls under total Necron control. 975 M41. A squad of Cadian White Shields, led by Ursakar Creed, takes part in the Drussite Crusade. Thanks to his natural cunning and tactical genius, Creed becomes promoted to the rank of captain following the aftermath of the campaign, despite starting it as a new conscript. The Eldari craft world of Lugganath suffers from an outbreak of the disease known as the Brittle Coma. In desperation, the seers of the craft world send astral projections of themselves into the garden of the plague god Nurgle in search of Isha, the goddess of healing. The souls of the seers, however, become lost within the realm of Nurgle. Commander Shadowsun leads the forces of the Tau Empire in a defense against a massive Orc war. Shadowsun's leadership would lead the Tau to victory against the Greenskins. 978 M41. Imperial forces led by Commissar Yarrick track the Orc warlord Ghazghkull Thraka to the world of Golgotha and launch an assault to slay the Greenskin tyrant. As Yarrick's forces battle against Ghazghkull's horde, Imperial forces are ambushed by a second Orc army, trapping them in a pincer movement. Yarrick's personal Baneblade super heavy tank, the Fortress of Arrogance, was destroyed, and Yarrick is captured by the Orcs. Yarrick, however, manages to escape a few weeks later, due to what are called mysterious circumstances, but it is believed that Ghazghkull released him due to wanting a proper fight when he returned to Armageddon. 980 M41. The Salamanders chapter of the Adeptus Astartes fights a fierce war against the Black Legion upon the world of Helatine. the sororitas of the Order of the Ebon Chalice move to reinforce Imperial forces and begin to push back the traitors. The demon prince known as Gralastix is summoned, and with his aid, the Black Legion almost succeeds in defeating the forces of the Imperium. It is only thanks to the sudden appearance of Saint Celestine that the followers of Chaos are eventually defeated, with the living saint vanishing almost immediately following the battle. 983 M41. Thanks to the tactical brilliance of Ursarkar Creed, the Cadian 8th Regiment succeeds in halting a migration of the insidious Xenos known as the Hrud. 986 M41. Ghazghkull Thraka leads a band of Orc pirates to successfully destroy the Imperial battlecruiser known as the Radiant Way. 989 M41. An Orc war led by the self-proclaimed arch-arsonist Snagrod runs rampant through the Loki sector. The Orcs eventually invade Rynn's world, the homeworld of the Crimson Fists chapter. During the invasion, the chapter is almost wiped out due to one of the planetary defense missiles inadvertently destroying the chapter's fortress monastery. The Orcs begin to overrun the world and slaughter its civilian population, while the remainder of the Crimson Fists desperately fought to protect the world's capital of New Rynn City. The Orcs would eventually be defeated, thanks to the timely arrival of reinforcements from over half a dozen Space Marine chapters. And that concludes this portion of the Warhammer 40,000 timeline. Join us next time as we continue chronicling the events of M41. If you liked this video, consider supporting us on Patreon for more content. To those who are new to 40k, we hope you learned something. So leave a comment below, and thanks for watching.